So I think that, okay, one of the biggest things that happen with people, as people in general, is you got your upper class, middle class, and I would just say poverty, right?
Okay.
And it's also within this is somewhere you got to intertwine it where you got your when you do something wrong, like commit a crime or adultery or something where the public finds out that you've done something wrong. So you got the power people up top. These are people that are controlling the city.
I think I know where you're going with this.
Can control all the shots and this and that. So let's just say, okay, here's me, Steve Pepin, because I've lived it. I've lived it. This is Steve. Poverty level, grew up. We were so poor that like I was hoping that we were gonna get to eat. You know, like it was. My mom and dad always found a way to feed us, but I remember that it was a struggle. You know, paying the payments and everything at house. And it's kind of like your middle class people try to keep you there. It's like, oh, you're poor, you're trailer park trash. I even had one of my girlfriends at the time when I was a teenager, like I overheard her talking to her husband like, he's white trash. He's white trash. We can't have her with him because they're sitting in middle class. So as I made my journey to the middle class, people in the middle class are trying to keep you down. They're trying to say like, no. You can't get past this level, you know, and let's even go back even further because this happened. So I went from poverty down to prison jail to where you're not even on poverty level.
Below.
You're not even, you're you know,
Yeah,
what's
no
next?
rights.
What's next?
Death.
All right. I decided while I was in prison and jail, next thing that was closest was death, and there was times I wanted to die. I thought dying would be a lot better than living, because how am I ever going to get up here? So as I made my decisions while I was in prison to like, I'm going to make changes, I'm going to do all the right things, I'm going to get all the education, I'm going to become a barber, I'm going to do every single program that you could possibly think of and find my way, because someday I want to get up here so I can help people down here. I want to help them. So I get out, I start my journey. And I make it to the middle class. I'm making $100,000 a year, and I'm mingling with these people. But for so long, I put up that fence that was up that the middle class tries to keep poverty people down there, and upper class people. It's even you actually even have a hard time to even hold a conversation with upper class. You know, the higher, like the rich people. So I'm trying to make my way. I get around these people, and one of the mistakes that I made is I would always look at myself as I was a poverty person. I only want to be around poor people. I want to try to uplift them. What I was finding out is a lot of them people were holding me back from trying to go even further. When I as soon as I couldn't help people no more, they disappeared. Then I found out who my real friends are. So I'm back down here. I went from here back down here. And now I got the barbershop and tat shop reopened, and now I'm working my way back up to where I'm here. But I'm actually living like this, Robert, because of the mistakes that I made when I was up here opening up businesses too fast. So I'm making middle class money, but I'm paying everybody back. So I might as well be living in poverty still. I mean, I don't care if you make $100,000. If you're pouring it all back out, you're still broke. You're just as broke as the guy.
So you feel like you're right here, right now?
Yeah, honestly, because of the amount of money that I'm making, and I got to pay it all out. Now I'm on a fast track. I'm on the. Here, go ahead.
If I can say something.
Yeah, definitely.
Is that this is my opinion only, but this group of people here is being separated by money, and so you use the word class, and the number of dollars you have in your account or excess depends your level of class. But I think what people fail to recognize is that we're all human.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And it's a matter of perspective, because we talked about this before. The person that's down here can absolutely have more money, because if we're talking about class, I think you're talking about money, right?
Yep.
So,
yep.
it comes to a mentality, and you've done that. You said you were able to figure it out while you were in jail, what you wanted to become, and you got to a level,
Yep.
and you feel like you're being pushed down now.
Yeah. No. I don't feel like they're pushing me down. I have pushed myself there because of I got to make things right. And now, if I didn't give two damns, I would be right here flourishing. And I think a lot of people put me here. But what I'm getting at is when I got here for years and years and years, I still would be like, I don't want to be looked at as a better than. I don't want to be looked at as someone
because of your time down
Yes.
here and the way you're able to relate to this so much
Yes.
more than you think you were able to relate
Yes.
to the middle class.
And my content, I don't have nothing in common with these guys. What I'm finding out is a lot of the people that are middle class, they had struggles too. They just wanted to get out of that.
Well, I know people that are filthy rich that have no class. Now, is the class of a matter of money, or is that a matter
I'm talking almost specifically. I understand where you're going, where money can't buy happiness, maybe that kind of thing.
Yeah,
I'm talking strictly finances.
Okay, so money.
Because
Gotcha.
money you can do things with money to help people.
True.
Okay, and money. I'll write this down. And this is I will never not believe this. Right here. Money equals freedom. It does. I mean,
I'll agree.
if you got a lot of money, you can wake up every day and do whatever the hell you want. Can't nobody obligate you to do anything. So I find my way here, and I had dreams and ambitions to getting up here. I want to get up here. I got to find a way to get up here, and I'm going to take the fast track. I'm going to open up more businesses. And the whole time, my real reason, and it still is this today, the whole reason why I wanted to get up there, because if I get up here, I can help these people. I can help them big. And I talked to you about this before. Opening, like if I believe in you and I got 50K sitting around, here's some.
And you're saying that some of these people didn't want you or were not enabling you to be up here.
That was part of the problem, though. But the major mistakes had nothing to do with them. It was me thinning myself out so thin that I couldn't go to all the businesses. I couldn't run them all. The reason why the barbershop's doing so good is I put all my attention.
But you know
on
what? I think you've had the same problem that a lot of entrepreneurs before you have had.
Yep.
Is they grow too big too fast.
Yep.
And what I've come to understand, and I'm not rich, but that you have to focus on what works, and you have to build that up. You have to scale what works.
Sure.
And then I think in time you just figure out where your path is.
Well, in time, what you do, if you ever want to get out of that, you got to have it all staffed out perfect to where, like, for example, right now, if I wanted to leave, I'm 100%. My intake is 100%. So I need to bring in 2 people on a 50-50 split, just to use that for numbers. Okay. That now I'm replacing myself with 2 people. And then you can leave because now I got 6, 7 staff. The tat shop is expanded.
And that's what a business person does, is they build a business to where it has added value.
Yes.
And someone sees the value and buys you out. And with that money, then you move on to more things. You can start more businesses, or you can be an investor.
And I did it the wrong way. What I did was I depleted myself. I took from the barbershop and tat shop to try to fly forward, borrowed money, private investors and banks and whatnot, to try to get up here quicker. And really what I put myself in is those bars and the other shops that I had were never going to get out of the poverty level that the business was in unless I applied myself to it fully.
Yeah, like your own business.
Yes.
Like
and
you
I
were
just
there.
can't.
Yeah.
So my goal in the future is I want to come up with businesses where I can staff it out with expertise, where people
they have to have skin in the game.
Yes.
Nobody takes care of your money like you, so they have to be invested in that. You just don't start a business. I mean, I don't want to give business advice, but if you start a business for somebody, but it's your money,
right,
it doesn't matter if it succeeds or fails because they have no skin in the game.
True.
So is that what you're saying? Kind of.
Well, a lot of times the skin in the game is, like for example, if you want to do your big marketing and what you could do with $50,000, and if I totally believed in you, your skin in the game has to be, you're doing all the work. I got the money, you're doing all the work. The problem with that is I've done that before, is that person becomes, whether it becomes successful or not successful, that person becomes, what's happened to me is that person becomes ungrateful, entitled, and then they start thinking.
And enabled, because they didn't work for it themselves.
Right,
so
they start thinking like, well, if it wasn't for me, you wouldn't be making no money. You know, like that type of mindset. And it's unfortunate that happens.
But you know what? They're not at that position because they don't have that mindset. You know, I see you want to help people, but the people that are going to be here are already here.
Right.
Because they have the mentality, they have the mindset, they put in the work, and they know hard work it takes to be there.
So a lot of times what you have to do, probably with that said, that's opening up a door for me, is, hey buddy, get up here, and when you get up here, that shows me.
And this is a mindset.
Yes.
I think people don't understand that. Like a lot of people wish and hope, but that's not work.
Well, in my family, a lot of people are sitting in this. We're talking like living off $1,500 a month. It's not a lot of money, man. Not in this 2018. Is I could have stayed here. My mindset is here, but I can't skip the steps to get there. But what's going on? What I find out with people, how people act is, when you're trying to get up here, people want to push you down. And when you're trying to get to upper class, rich people are like, you can stay middle class, but you ain't coming up here with us.
Yeah. You know what? And I seen that in something that Ron said in that interview. He said there was a problem in the cities where he didn't want some punk ass kid making $15 an hour to fuck up his burger.
Because they just went through this in Minneapolis.
Sure.
And they want to give some kid $15 an hour to fuck up my hamburger and fries. That ain't happening.
Right? And he said, and you said, well, Ron's like, so you're saying that you want to give him something to aspire to.
I want to provide $20 an hour jobs.
You want jobs that people can work up to.
Yeah, they can work up to.
Okay, so the mentality is, I've worked hard. I've sacrificed. I went to school. I've robbed, cheat, steal, whatever to get to that position. How are they going to come up just by a law overnight, right? So they don't see how it's fair because they got the wrong mentality. Because someone's making $15 an hour, they're still underpaid. If you are one of the people that think that people should make $15 an hour, then you probably should be making $20, $30 an hour.
Sure.
Yeah. So if someone comes up to $15 an hour, does that mean you stay at $15 an hour? No, it means you go up too.
Right, and that
people
got
don't got the
corrected,
mentality.
right?
They say, no, keep them down, keep them down.
Yeah.
They shouldn't be up here because I struggled to be at 15 or 20 or whatever.
Right.
So how someone is going to jump on the $20 an hour bandwagon when I fucking hustled and murdered, cheated, and stealed for that, you know? So it's the mentality.
Yep,
Because
totally.
what makes you say that you have to stay at 15? Maybe
Right.
you'll go up too.
Right. And what I felt when I got here is I had plenty of people around me like, oh yeah, they gave me that respect that I'm a business owner and I'm making money, this and that. But I never allowed them to become part of my life because I was too focused on, I got to stay humble. I can't be a better than, because I looked at all them people as that. Well, the truth of the matter is more than half of those people, it wasn't like daddy just gave them a silver spoon. They went to college for 4 years. Right. They busted. They did everything they were supposed to do. And a lot of the stories, now that I'm sitting down with people that are middle class, upper middle class, you hear their stories and it's like, dang, this guy struggled like I did, but they just didn't want to settle for this. So now as I create my journey back up, I'm kind of at a standstill sitting here, but I feel like this because another year and a half, I'm going to keep on having to pay people unless I find something that can catapult me, like another business that hasn't a lot of risk, not a lot of, And
I think you'll find it in time, or you'll see the path. I think people that have the vision like you, because they say a lot of things are created twice, once in the mind and then once in the physical form. So in your mind down here, when you were in prison, you were like, I don't want to be down here, I want to be up here. And you visualize the steps it took to get there, right? And we can safely say you're probably there or halfway there compared to some people. You're all the way there.
Mentally, I feel like I'm like up in this area. I'm not there. Yeah, because you're not there.
But you know what? I think people with that mentality are never satisfied. Even if you were here, you would feel you weren't here.
Right.
You'd be up here until you middle class could be upper class could be $1 million a year income.
Right.
Once you're here, you'll be like, that's not it. I need to get to 10 million.
Gotcha.
100 million. So it's a mentality that entrepreneurs and people like you with vision have.
Right, and then there got to become that time where sooner or later, in order to be happy, you got to come up. You got to ask yourself this question: what's enough?
What's enough?
What's enough? When you get to, you're making $2 million a year or whatever. For me, what's enough for me is when, and maybe that's not true, but this is like what I'm thinking is, when can I get to the spot where I can come back down this way?
I think this never ends.
Never ends.
No, because once you're here, you understand the value that you've added to the people down here. And the only way you can help these people is by keep adding value as you see the steps necessary for the next step. And that trickles down in jobs, opportunities. Right. And so, inadvertently, by reaching for the top, you've helped out these other people.
I like it.
Yeah. Because you have. Let's talk about what you've done. When Mayor Calv asked you, or when they asked you about your leadership, they asked you what you bring to the table. You failed to talk about all the people that you've helped out of poverty, that you
Yeah.
that you gave an opportunity to,
Right.
that are making more money than they would have with a degree,
Right.
right?
Right.
So that was a good opportunity wasted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're right. I was kind of stumped.
And then
a
another
little
thing
bit.
he said too was, do you like the leadership that you've seen for the last 14 years? Well, with me, you'll continue to see it.
You need to take a look. Do you like what you've seen the last 18 months? Do you think Wilmer's headed in the right direction? If you like what you've seen and you think Wilmer's headed in the right direction,
Why would it change? Because you were hired for the job. Maybe it'll improve, right?
Right.
So he implied that you see where we're going. It's good, right?
Right.
With me, it's good.
Right.
With Pep here,
I knew it. I knew those were shots.
Yeah.
But they were creative. The way
Yeah.
that he said them
Yeah.
didn't sound like shots.
Yeah. And so what people don't realize is that you're an approachable person. I'm here in front of you right now. If anybody wants to get a hold of you, they just go to the shop
Yeah.
and they can tell you their concerns.
Yep.
Marv is not a relatable guy. He's an old man. People that relate to him are the older people.
We hear a lot about parks and playgrounds and wading pools, swimming pools, but we have a growing senior population and they vote. So what would you offer them? And Marv, I believe it's you first.
you know, Jan, I didn't intentionally dodge that one, but seeing you brought it back, I guess I'm going to have to clearly answer it. So my wife has been involved in the senior population her entire career. I've worked with seniors the majority of my career. And yes, I do know that seniors vote.
You represent the new generation, the generation coming up, the generation that doesn't vote,
Right.
right? The invisible voter. They're the ones that are kind of giving these positions to people that already run these.
Yeah, and they're also tell themselves that in their minds, oh, what's one vote? What's one vote? But when you got 5,000 people in that generation doing that,
Well, there's a whole generation of people that are disenfranchised. They feel, what's it worth? It doesn't make a difference because they've always understood that the political system is set up in a group of hierarchy.
Sure.
That doesn't matter what you do, you can only ever be dominated. So what's the vote? What's the purpose of voting?
right,
At least that's how I feel.
Right,
That's how I
right.
imagine a lot of people feel the same
right.
way.
Unless you find a way to inspire them and give them something to believe in, and then they think, you know what,
it goes back to the mentality. Because if you had the mentality of someone who wanted to achieve, you'd be like, I'm getting involved. Because you said that in the forum at the debate. You said, get involved, be passionate, right? And that's what should happen. That's why I'm here. I'm nobody,
Right.
but because I have an interest in what goes on in my community, because I feel part of my community, my mentality is get involved, ask questions, talk to people,
I've
build
also,
relationships.
you talk about the being approachable. I've also created that opportunity to where you feel comfortable around me. I can't imagine like you wanting to do this stuff with Marv.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right.
It'd be different. I would feel it different.
Yeah.
I would feel like I just
I don't think
relate.
anybody can approach Marv. I made a joke about poison in the water. I don't know if you caught that. Because there was something floating in your water, and I said, what'd you do, put poison in here, Marv? And he looked at me like I was scum. He looked at me like,
Right.
okay, like lighten up, buddy.
I was
Like
just
you must
kidding.
not you be
Yeah,
not
yeah,
used
yeah,
to
yeah,
people
yeah.
kidding with you.
Yeah.
Or either that, or he has a problem with Mexicans, or something about me.
Or maybe he did. No,
he
it's
did.
like-
Yeah, and I was like,
Busted.
I was like, give him the water.
right. Yeah, but what's too bad about this though is where's this?
Enough for the people in this range. Oh, encouragement.
You know, where's the encouragement? Like, no one's like, hey, come on up out of here and come by us. No,
Yeah.
stay down, stay down, stay down.
Well-
Even these guys don't want middle class people to come up there.
I'll tell you what it is. It's knowledge. Knowledge is more readily available now than it was back then with the internet. You can easily go talk to Gary Vander. You can see Gary Vaynerchuk's
Yeah, I watch his
mentality.
stuff.
Yeah, and all sorts of entrepreneurs. And so with the expansion of education comes more power. And that's where we get here. And we're starting to have more conversations like that. I'm starting to realize that people are starting to become more woke. And so this is happening. But until the majority of the people get out of their head and realize that things aren't entitled,
Right,
things aren't prayed for or wished for.
right.
And
It's
they
not
start
just gonna magically
Yeah.
happen.
No, when they start getting to the mentality, it's like, how do I add value to myself? And by adding value to myself, I add value to my community. And then the community starts to grow because they start to see that you start to inspire. I make
Yes.
videos, you know,
Yes.
and I probably come across as crazy. But you know what? I think it inspires people
Yeah.
because they see somebody else is willing to try to do it. And I might not be the successful one. It might be somebody else that I encourage. But because I took the steps necessary because I had the vision to do that. Somebody else saw it. they jumped on the same
Yeah,
bandwagon.
you can see what another person could do.
Yeah, it'll inspire somebody else.
But maybe they don't see it. It's like you're waking up other people. Now let's talk about a different side of this. Is the personal side of it? Okay, if you do something in your community while you're upper class, middle class, or poverty, say you go to jail, say you get busted DWI, or say you go to, people really want you to stay down. Like you don't get to come up here. You definitely ain't coming up there. You know how many times I hear from these type of people, like, shouldn't you just focus on the mess he already caused already? Why is he running for mayor? Why is he trying to do more when he should just go back into his cubbyhole and just go cut hair? Figure out your stuff.
You know what? I think you could be, even though this might sound wrong, is you could be comparable to Donald Trump, because Donald Trump is a businessman who was able to become president. And even though that the media is portraying him as a fuck up, the things he's done is to benefit the United States, the rich people that he knows or owes. I don't know how it works, but it's comparable. You're a businessman that wants to do better, right? So Marv is a politician, and if we all know how politicians get down,
right?
It's all about like scratching their backs. I don't know what these politicians do,
but
honestly, I think people that are more realistic and approachable should be in positions of authority like that.
And there's a certain form of humility too that you should, that I know I have, to where no matter how far up I climb, stay humble. Try to help the next man up. Try to encourage the next man up. But at the same time, you got to have a boundary to where if they're not motivated and they don't have the mentality like you talked about, stay there then. You know, like, because you ain't bringing me back down. You're not going to be the reason why, the 25-30% of the reason why I'm going to fail. You know, I'll take full responsibility. But there was other elements to why my collapse happened. And a lot of it was because I'm trying to help people that didn't want help.
But you know what?
They didn't want to help themselves.
Yeah, and people want to seem like the failures of your bars and the barbershop and things that you started, those businesses that failed. They like to point it out to you like, ha 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 ha. But they're not realizing the fact of the matter that you took a risk.
Yep.
You put things together to try to make this thing happen. You were giving opportunities to people to work those positions.
Right.
And things didn't work out.
Right.
But you took the risk and you put it on yourself, and now you're paying for it
Yeah,
back.
and in the midst of all that, Robert, one of the things that I did amongst all this and amongst the businesses is that they called on me, I came. Meaning countless visits to the prisons, countless trying to encourage the barbers, and they're like, look what I did when I got out, look what you can do. When the education department, you know, the big like higher education and whatnot, they need someone to go speak, they call on me. You know, I've been to these schools, the other barber schools, I've subbed, and you know what I do? I always seek out all the students that I've never met in my life. Usually I don't know them. The ones that I've seen the last time are already either transferred or they graduated. Is tell them my story, because then I have content, and then I can relate to them, and then what is their story, and then by day 3 they love me. Well, it's not rocket science. Care about them, let them know that they matter, and then show them the way, like, this is what I did.
You know, we can safely say that any of this is achievable if you change your mentality. And you know what? If you're down here and that's how the person you relate to, and you want to be up here, then you need to start changing your mentality. Okay, get involved.
Right.
Go vote.
Yes.
Ask Pep a question.
Yes.
Go look for him at the barbershop. Ask him.
Yeah.
Yeah, go talk to Marvin, ask him a question, see how that goes.
Right. People know, and that's the thing in the last 14 years that I've done, is that everybody knows that you can come talk to me, and I will give you an answer, and if I can help, I'll help. But I just wanted to share this with you guys and with the people that are going to watch it, that don't let people keep you stuck. If you got dreams and goals, and get it, but you got to change, like Robert said, you got to change your mentality, because if you don't change your mentality, you're going to stay stuck there. And when other people that are trying to make it, you're going to hold them back, and when they fail, you're just going to keep sitting there. And I think it, like you said a long time ago, I don't know, a few weeks ago when we talked, is like, it's got to be, you got to make that conscious decision that you don't want to live like this no more. You know, I could have folded so many times and just gave up. But what is that going to do? How is that going to inspire anybody? How is that going to make people believe in themselves? You know, or maybe move away and go to a different town, maybe a different, and then start all over, have to get reestablished, or let down the people that actually look up to me? I can't do it.
And timing is everything, because if I would have never started the videos, I would never be where I'm at now. And I had the mentality and the idea and the foresight to start a long time ago, right? And now, say I was the type of person that said, like the type of person that says, I'm gonna start my diet on Monday, right? It's always on
or
Monday.
the first of the year.
Yeah, right? I would never do it.
Right.
And it would never happen. The time is now.
Yeah.
The opportunity is right now.
Yeah.
We might not ever get this opportunity again to have someone that has the right mentality, an entrepreneurial mentality, to be in a position to make changes, to make opportunities for the people coming up.
Right, and that's one of the biggest reasons why it's good for the people to get out and go vote. Is like, get me in the spot, because like I said at the end, if you vote for me, you're voting for yourself. You know what I'm saying? Like,
You know what? And they've made it even more convenient with the absentee. Is that too late for the absentee?
No, I think they can still do that.
Yeah, with
I don't know
absentee
a lot
ballot,
about
you
that.
with an absentee ballot, the way I understand it works is you sign a paper like you voted, like you went to the machine, but you didn't vote at the machine.
Yeah.
You send it in.
It comes in the mail, and then you send it in. And a lot of people that are like, I had a couple people that did it that are over in Iraq, but they're from Wilmer, so they did an absentee, you know, that kind of thing.
So that's the way that you can show your support without actually physically going to the polls. A lot of people don't want to for whatever reason. So there's even strategy. If you feel strongly enough about Steve's conviction, you can make it happen with an absentee ballot.
Yep.
And if you have any more questions, you can always just go and talk to him.
Yeah, come right down to the barbershop and then we can have a chat. But more so, like, just get excited about it too. Tell your friends, tell everybody to get out and vote, because when more than half the people in Wilmer don't vote, it can change the whole outcome of the election.
Yeah.
I truly believe that if in 14 years I've gained a lot of support, that if all of you guys get up and go vote, we'll win. Yeah. And I know that our opponent thinks that too.
Yeah.
But he's banking on the fact that people are going to be lazy, people are going to be stuck, and they're not going to get out because their vote don't matter. Well, I'm telling you that it does. Each and every one of you guys matter.
Yeah. And don't buy this thing that you like how it's going, then stick with me. No. It can change. It can change for the better. Matter of fact, I think it'd be better to have a younger perspective. Somebody who's been down here at the level that a lot of people can relate to. And he struggled, and he's got the mentality of somebody that's been up here, you can relate to this. So he has all three spectrums. You're the type of person that can understand the majority of the people in this town.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Because there's not that many that are up here. And those are the ones that...
And don't be fooled. This class shit, people that... You can never be a high class.
Yeah,
It's a number.
Yeah,
it's a mentality.
What did Robert say?
Yeah.
Everybody's human.
Yeah.
Each and every class is human.
You let them divide us by labels. Yeah, because they're high class. I have to be low class. No. Don't get caught up in this thing. It's a mentality, because once your mentality shifts, you get over here. It happens for you.
Right, and that's why, guys, I can walk into these forums and with practice and some help from guys like Robert to inspire me and make me feel confident. I can walk into these things and know that these guys are just human. They're just like me. Well, what makes them better than me? And talk to them like they would talk to me.
I'm gonna tell you something. You already won. You already won because you've taken the steps to put yourself here.
Right.
You're running for mayor. I'm interviewing the mayor.
Right.
Do you understand?
Right.
And it's to conceptualize it.
Right.
It's
because
crazy.
we want to stay so humble minded, or keep yourself in check, kind of, when really it needs to be celebrated.
Yeah.
Like I was talking to a girl today at Lulu Beans when we had our what she said is, like, you're already winning. Steve, you're already winning because you're speaking from a spectrum that people weren't even talked to. People weren't being thought of. You weren't, like, when the mayors that have power and control issues, or they just want to deal with upper class or upper middle class people, they don't understand none of this. She used to be a police officer in town, so she understands the spectrum. She used to deal with a lot of the people in poverty, jail, those different things. And she said, one thing that you got to do is understand that what you're doing is a big deal, and you're inspiring a lot of people. True. Every once in a while, you can give yourself a pat on the back, like, you're doing a good job, you're doing good things. And I think that's something that's always been hard for me, because I never want to be looked at as somebody that's better than anybody. Each and every one of us have the power to do anything with our life.
Things are changing. People are having these conversations, and people are evolving. It's called being woke. I don't know. Have you heard that?
Yeah. No,
and that's what's happening.
Yeah.
People are starting to have these conversations. I'm sure in your household you've had conversations like, what about Pep? Pep's this, Pep that. If you have a question, talk to the
Yeah,
guy.
come talk to me.
Yeah.
Or give me
He's
a
been
call.
having meetings at Lulu Beans. You can check him out on Calendarly.
Yep, next week we're going to have another one. I think I'm going to hop around. I'm going to go to another different spot just so I can kind of...
Just go to the Pet for Mayor Facebook page, and
Yep.
you can sign up to talk with him at a scheduled place, time, and date.
Yep.
So if you
we're gonna have a bunch of videos come out in the next couple weeks, and as well as I'm gonna put together a report card to kind of compare since Marv wants to compare himself to me, I'm gonna compare myself to him, and let's see that moving forward, what's best for our community.
There you go. If you have any questions, check them out on Facebook.
Thank you, Robert.
You're welcome.
Appreciate it, brother.
You're welcome.